Hey, and welcome back to my channel. I've mentioned in my prior videos about how a recruiter is essentially a professional career matchmaker. Thinking along those same lines, matching a candidate with a client isn't something you want to rush and want to make sure you do really well. Subpar recruiters give other recruiters a bad name when they don't take the time, the effort, care to get to know the candidate and figure out exactly what they're looking for. Many are content with simply throwing the names into a database and spamming them with irrelevant job opportunities. It's all about quality over quantity. While sending out generic template emails to candidates can yield some results, it won't be a dependable tactic to use over the long term. With that in mind, I'm going to review some helpful tips to remember when engaging candidates about an open position. This will help you get to know them, their preferences, and ensure that it's a match made in heaven. But before we get started, as always, please consider liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. It's completely free and really means a lot. Understand what the candidate wants. This might seem obvious, but it bears repeating. You can't make a successful match without knowing what a candidate is looking for in a new job. When chatting with them, if they made clear to you that they're looking for an established or larger company, why would you go ahead and still pitch them a small, fast-growing startup? It makes no sense. We're in the business to help save candidates time and effort when it comes to finding a new job. If they feel like you aren't really listening to them or caring about their preferences from the beginning, you're starting the relationship off on the wrong note. Dive deep and understand everything your candidate is looking for in their next position. The more you know, the better you can match them to something appropriate. Ask them what types of roles and responsibilities they're looking for. What are their desired salary? If they have a preference on the size of the company. Ask them if they're looking mainly for full-time roles or part-time, remote or in office, or both. Or what about if they can paint what their ideal job and ideal company would look like, or what sector or industry interests them? Why are they interested in leaving their current position? What's going on with their personal lives that prompted this move? And is there anything that would be helpful to keep in mind going forward? You might be surprised at how the smallest details can be the most important in determining which job is best for your candidate. You want to collect as much information here so that you can tailor your jobs to match what they're looking for if you think the jobs would be a good fit. Don't lose sight of your goal. However, this process must benefit you as well. In that way, you're acting as a salesman for the position. Usually, the candidate won't be familiar with the job or company you're representing. It's up to you to get them excited enough about the job by selling it to the candidate and showing them that this is the perfect opportunity for them. This can only be done well if you really listen to what the candidates really want and then bridging that with what your client can offer. Provide specific examples of how the job matches their preferences, salary, title, responsibility, company size, location, and growth opportunities. These are some of the few things you'll need to make sure that are aligned. If you can paint a great picture where the company you're pitching them offers everything your candidate is looking for, the higher the chance your candidate will want to interview there. Similarly, when reaching out to candidates on the most basic level, make sure you pitch a job that is actually relevant to the candidate's background. If the candidate is a software engineer, why would you pitch them a marketing or designer role? I know this may sound obvious, but honestly, this still happens so often that I have to say something here. I can't tell you how many times I was also pitched a completely irrelevant role to my own background from other recruiters. No wonder why recruiters in general have such a bad rep. We gotta fix this, guys. What could also help with outreach is look at the types of companies the candidate has worked at. If it's mainly smaller startups, maybe they would only be interested in startups or smaller companies. What if they're working at larger companies or agencies? Perhaps opportunities at similar companies would interest them more. It's not the case for everybody, and I don't want to generalize, but paying attention to a person's career trajectory can help you determine which points to highlight when you do outreach, as it can definitely help with your response rate. Offer a 5-star service. A recruiter who simply collects candidates to contact out of the blue with unsolicited job offers is likely going for quantity in order to get results quickly to benefit themselves. While you might be able to get some responses through this method, you'll soon find that many candidates will soon start to ignore or block you if this keeps up. The best recruiters know that the candidate and their experience should always come first, just as if they were a customer at a business. This leads to a successful job matching, positive results, and overall valuable connection. Also, like a customer, you want to make a great first impression. Be positive and smile when you talk to them. Actively listen to their requests and concerns. Match them to truly relevant roles. Be conscious of their time. Be responsive and accessible if they have any questions or concerns. And make sure you're available for them when they need you to be. When you submit a candidate to an interview, our job is to then be their support system by walking them through the entire process, making sure that they have the best experience. Are you providing thorough interview prep emails? Are you scheduling regular check-ins and follow-up conversations? And are you there to help address any concerns or questions. Try your best to address any concerns in real time as much as possible. If you wait a day or 2 or 3, you're just giving your candidates more time to focus or dwell more on the concerns or other interviews and less on the interviews with your particular client. The sooner you can respond and nip any issue in the bud, the better and happier your candidates will be to continue the interview process. Finally, make sure that you're scheduling interviews and meetings as soon as you can and do your best to condense the process. Why schedule an interview 4 days out when you can do it 1 to 2 days out? The longer the process drags on, the more your candidate can go deeper with other companies or possibly lose interest overall. If the interview process with your company is smooth and fast, your candidate will love you as they have the best experience and you can beat out other competing interview processes that are going much slower. Moving the process along quickly by scheduling interviews sooner rather than later is key to staying ahead of the competition and providing that extra service to our candidates. Be attentive. Making sure during your first and follow-up conversations with candidates that you stay up to date on any big changes going on with other interviews or their lives. Are they interviewing at many other places, or are they thinking about moving out of state, for example? Have they gotten any offers from other companies? Have their expectations about your particular job changed? Are they still interested in the company you represent? Things happen, but staying on top will make the process as stress-free as possible. By doing our best to keep tabs on your candidates, you can predict and then avoid any obstacles that might come your way in the future. Is a bidding war going to happen with other companies? Or will your candidates start preferring roles that are hybrid or even fully remote because they're moving? Is the candidate now looking for a higher salary because they received an offer from another company, and because of that, you have to go back to your client and notify them about the new expectations? The more you know, the better you can be to help navigate your candidate throughout the interview process and inform your clients of any important changes about the candidates in case they want to move forward and extend an offer. Just as you expect prompt and thoughtful responses from your clients and candidates, you should extend that same courtesy to them as well. The more accessible you are with your candidate, the better working relationship you'll have, and the more responsive and trust the candidates will place on you. Candidates can work with any recruiters that they want, and if they feel like you're making them a priority, there is a great chance they will choose to work with you long term. Keeping an eye out for red flags. Just like you should be putting 100% into making the experience as smooth as possible for the candidate should be willing to extend that same courtesy to you. Being dishonest and withholding information will only lengthen the process and make it harder for everyone involved. Make it clear when you first talk to the candidate that our job as the recruiter is to really be their support system and to be a tool in their corner to be used to make sure the interview experience is as best as it can be. By them withholding information from you, that can really only hurt them. The more we are on the same page with their expectations, ideal salary range, other interview processes or offers, or anything else, the better we can fight for them. Make it clear that if they're interviewing elsewhere, we can accelerate the process with our clients to make it shorter, or if they have any questions, we can do our best to get those answered for them in real time or connect them with a member of the team who can adequately address any concerns. If one of your candidates is slow to respond, constantly changing their job preferences, doesn't disclose their salary expectations or the status of the other interviews, it'll be very difficult for us to do our jobs well and make it difficult for the process to continue in the right way. You want to do whatever you can to have a great and honest relationship directly with the candidate from the get-go. And if something's wrong, perhaps it might be helpful to take a step back and really understand why your candidate is giving you a tough time. Maybe they had a bad experience before with another recruiter, or maybe somehow they got burned by a company or two in the past. The better you can get to the root cause, the better you can address it. Sure, you can just submit the candidate and be hands off the entire process and just pray that they get to the final round, get an offer, and accept. But if you do that, and if something goes wrong, or if they ghost an interview, this can reflect really badly on you in your client's eyes. Conversely, some candidates may be too detailed and overshare with their clients. Be sure to really stress the importance that they should probably not disclose or rant their personal feelings about their last job or how much they dislike their previous job, as that really reflects poorly on them. Be thorough in your preparation emails and calls on the best practices when interviewing so that you can prevent these situations from happening. Finally, you might want to rethink working with your candidate if they are unprepared or unwilling to work with you. Forgetting resumes and cover letters, being unresponsive, having to constantly reschedule interviews, and not disclosing their true preferences or the status of other interviews might be reasons enough to walk away. Just as candidates have many choices to work with many recruiters, we also have choices to work with many different candidates. Our job is to serve and be there for the candidate. If the candidate doesn't want to be helped or is going to give you a tough time every step of the way, it might make more sense to work with others. Positive signs to look for. On the other hand, if the candidate you're working with has gone above and beyond and have been amazing since the first time you spoke with them, and they are truly a keeper and hopefully someone you can work with long term. The best candidates will have great energy, be honest and open with you about their work history, overall feelings, and interview activity. They will be accessible, be willing to respond promptly and appropriately when you reach out to them, and open to any adjustments on their end to make sure the interview process goes smoothly. They have strong communication skills and know how to engage with the process thoughtfully and provide respect and professionalism both to you and the hiring manager. If you find that your candidate puts into the process as much as we're putting into the process, foster this relationship. It will lead to further success in the future. If you can work with an ideal candidate with an ideal client, there is no better feeling than that, as everything will go as planned and the process will be smooth like butter with no obstacles or challenges. There you have it, 5 detailed tips to keep in mind while working with candidates. If you have any questions or want to share some of your tips, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, again, please like, subscribe, click that bell, completely free and really helps us out a lot. You can also add me at Preston_Park, as I try my best to also post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.